Good afternoon. My name is Alvin Flores, and this is my midterm debrief presentation for 6332. Some of the things that I will be addressing in this presentation is going to be the goal of the project. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my instructional solution. I'm also going to tell you some of the things that I've learned throughout working, and also the current state of the project, as well as completing the project by the submission date. And I'm also going to address any concerns or challenges that I faced throughout the creation of this project. So this is the course goal. The current project that I'm working on has an overarching goal that focuses on elementary teachers. This is the course goal for my project. GAR's elementary teachers will demonstrate an understanding of creating and managing an online classroom through the use of Google Classroom. These are the instructional objectives. The first objective is that teachers will create an online classroom using the Google Apps for Education tool Google Classroom. The second objective states teachers will successfully learn to create and manage Google Classroom assignments. The third instructional objective states that teachers will manage announcement and discussion options on the feed page of the Google Classroom. Now, the main purpose of this instructional solution is to help teachers create a virtual classroom. Since my district is currently moving towards a paperless classroom, they are trying to get as many teachers on board with digital assignments and having online discussions and kind of like flipping the classroom. One of the things that I've come across after talking to some of the teachers is that they don't really know how to use many of the tools that the district has provided. There hasn't been much in-depth training on the tools that have been provided, and the training that has been provided has not been available to the entire staff. So I decided to create an instructional solution to kind of help with the creation of this online classroom. And so I decided to create an online course on Blackboard. This is the course that I created through course sites, Blackboard course sites. It's a simple layout. The very first thing that the teachers will see when they log in is going to be the announcements page. And here I hope to just post very important things that are critical to the class. If there are any discussion questions that need to be addressed, I could put something here in the announcements page, and all the teachers will be able to see it that are logged in. And it's also going to send them an email notification so that they can check and they're alerted to any updates to the course. On the left hand side, you have your navigation menu, and I created something very, very simple. I've created a course similar to this for the teachers, and one of the biggest things that they wanted was simplicity. And so I tried to make this course as simple as possible. So I try to eliminate as much as I could from the navigation menu. And this is what the user sees when they log in. So they have the announcements tab here, the announcements page. If they click on the syllabus, it takes them directly to the Google Classroom syllabus, and here it's all online, and they can read everything about the class. I have the grading policy, I have the objectives, course expectations, I have instructor contact information, I also have the course description, communication, a way that they can reach me in case they have any questions. They can call me or email me. And then I have how much the assignments are worth and the grading policy. I also opened up a discussion board for the learners, and it's not mandatory, but it's meant to help with collaboration and to address any questions that more than one person might have. So I created an FAQ, a frequently asked questions forum, and teachers can post questions on here, and I'll get the notification and then I can reply, so that not only one teacher gets a question answered that another one might also have, but I answer a question and then they can all see the answers to that question, and they can also refer back to it instead of having to email me, the same question various times. They can also subscribe to this forum. So in the frequently asked questions, they can subscribe, and if they subscribe, every time that there is a new question asked, they will receive an email notification that lets them know that there is a new question, and then once that question has been answered, they get another notification with the answer to that question. So it really keeps everyone updated as far as certain challenges that are met throughout the course. Under the communications tab here, I also have the email. Here the users can send an email to another user, or they can also send an email to the instructor. So if they have any types of issues, or if for whatever reason they forget my email, they can just click here on email, and they can click on all instructor users, and here they can type in the subject and then just send me an email. And here this sends an email directly to me with any questions or concerns that they might have. If they would also like to use the email, they can email other users from the classroom. So they can also email each other and ask each other questions if that's something that they would like to do. Next is the course content. All of the course content is found under the lessons section. And the lessons are broken up into 3 lessons. There's an introduction, lesson 1, which is Google creation, the Google Classroom creation. Lesson 2 consists of assignments, managing assignments. And the last lesson focuses on announcements and discussions. I went ahead and I included the objectives for each lesson here on this landing page on the module pages. And as you can see, each lesson has the objective and then the sub-objectives for each lesson. I wanted to include this on the module page so that they can kind of be reminded of what they're expected to learn throughout the course every time that they log in, or if they log out and they come back in. They can kind of just see it and then keep in mind that that's what their end objective is for them to learn. So I'm going to talk about the first 2, the introduction and lesson 1. Lesson 1, 2, and 3 are somewhat similar in design. So I'm simply going to talk to you about lesson 1 for now. The introduction show teachers just a little bit about why using Google Classroom is important. Now, one of the things is that yes, the district is trying to get teachers on board with using digital tools such as Google Classroom for managing assignments and having discussions. But they're moving towards that. It's not mandatory right now. So it's important that they learn how beneficial it is to use these resources such as Google Classroom. So the first is the introduction, and this is the layout of the introduction page. I try to include pictures but not make it too busy, so I try to keep it as simple as possible. Again, that was one of the most important feedback ideas that I received, was to keep it simple. So simplicity was the goal. I included a picture to kind of grab their attention. Arrows are directing the learner down, so they're keeping their focus. I state the objective here. Again, the purpose of this classroom is for them to learn how to use Google Classroom, essentially. Again, the arrows keep their focus. And at the very bottom, I created a Powtoon, and it's a simple slides Powtoon, and it serves to just elaborate more on why it's important to use Google Classroom and the benefits of using Google Classroom. And that's what I'm going to show you, just a little bit of it. So once the student clicks on that picture, they're going to be redirected to the Powtoon's website. And again, I tried to keep it as short as possible because this is kind of lengthy, and I didn't want teachers to feel overwhelmed with information. So it's something that's engaging, it's quick, they can kind of look through it fairly quickly. It just addresses the main points as to why Google Classroom is important and the benefits of using it inside the classroom. Teachers can come back and review this if they would like. So it's something simple that they can use to review some of the reasons why they should try to learn as much as they can about using Google Classroom. So once they're done with that, they're ready to move on to lesson 1. So in order to get back to lesson 1, they're going to go to the lessons, back to the lessons page, and they're going to click on lesson 1. Now here are again the objectives for the lesson. So the first lesson, the objectives consist of creating an online classroom. So here is where they're going to be creating their classroom and selecting a theme and also inviting students. So the way that it's laid out for lesson 1 is 6 different pages are included in the module. So the first page that they come across is going to be the pretest, and here this pretest addresses their previous knowledge. So they might do very well, they might not do well, but this is just so they can see how much they know about using Google Classroom. And here's just a sample. They have 1 hour to complete the test. It consists of true or false multiple choice questions, 10 questions. When they're done, they submit it. After they've completed the pretest, they move on to the second page, which is the introduction page of the lesson. So again, I tried to include an image, a picture, to keep them engaged. Arrows are guiding the learner again to the objective, and this is the objective of the lesson this time. Instead of the objective for the course, this is the objective for the lesson. And then here are the sub-objectives. And they continue down. This is just so that they review what it is that they're going to learn. So after they finish the second page, they move on to the third page. And in this third page consists of a video. And this is the video tutorial of the classroom creation. So the students here can go through this video as many times as they want. And it's a video tutorial again, and it covers everything that they need to know about creating a classroom, creating a theme, and inviting students. Web browser, and in the address bar, you're going to want to type. So again, this is just a sample of what they will be seeing. The video is complete. Again, I tried to keep it around 5 minutes because I did not want for the lesson to be more than an hour long. I try to keep it very, very short, very simple, and cover the most important information that they need to know in order to create their website, their classroom. After they watch the video, they can watch it again. They can watch it as many times as they want. They can also come back and watch it. They can log off and then watch it again. After they've finished, they can move on to the fourth page. And the fourth page serves as a digital file for them to download. It's essentially the entire video broken down into steps. And so I created downloadable instructions for them so that they can review offline. And it's shown here as in PDF format. So it's lesson 1, and each section is color coded. So the blue one is the section, and then the steps are in yellow. And they can download this to their iPad so they can keep it next to them, because all teachers have access to an iPad. The teachers can have this next to them while they're creating their classroom website in case they don't have access to the video or they don't have internet access. They can just download this and then use this offline in case they have any questions. Or they can use it to review. Also go back and look through these steps to see if they missed anything, or they just want to look at a picture. So all of the steps have pictures similar to what is included in the video. After they review and download the instructions, they move on to the next page. The next page consists of a review game. It's a Zondo review game, and what this game is meant to do is meant to review some of the important concepts that were covered in the video and in the downloadable instructions. So this is a review game that asks some true or false multiple choice questions. And if they get the answer correct, then they're given a chance to play a game. And I've used this before with some of the teachers, and they really seem to like it to review, because it asks some questions and then they can also play the game, so it's engaging for the learner. Click a button to set your So if they get the answer correct, they're able to play a little game, and it keeps them engaged, and it keeps them playing. It asks some questions about the lesson in the video. After they complete the review game, they can play the game as many times as they want. There's no limit to playing the review game. Once they finish the review game, they can take the post-test. And the post-test, again, has instructions and a description. This is meant to assess everything that they've learned throughout the course. Once they begin the test, they have to complete the test within an hour. Again, multiple choice, true or false questions, and it's a total of 10 questions. After they finish, they submit, and then they're redirected back to this page. Once they've finished and they've completed the first lesson, they will receive their grades here under the My Grades tab. In the My Grades, they're going to receive their own personal grades for their pre-tests, their post-tests, and their assignments here. Lesson 2 and 3 are still incomplete, but they have the objective stated, and the design is very similar. They consist of a pre-test, a tutorial video, downloadable instructions, a review game, and then also a post-test. So here's lesson 3, consists of the same elements. By the submission date, I really hope to complete the project. I'm fairly close to completing the project. As I finished lesson 1, I'm attempting to contact some of my grade level teachers to see if they're willing to just kind of go through the course and give me some feedback before I finish the entire thing. That I think is one of the challenges that I have faced, is since it is the summer, a lot of teachers are kind of on vacation, so they don't really look at their email. So getting into contact with them has been a little difficult, but I have gotten some responses, and hopefully some of the teachers will be able to log in and just kind of run through the course and give me some feedback before I complete the course. The instructional solution right now is about 50% complete. I know I'll be able to be complete by the submission date. Another thing that I've learned is also to continue to make little modifications as I go along instead of waiting until the very end. That's another reason why I want to include why I want the feedback throughout the course instead of the very end, because then it's going to take me longer to go back and change a lot of things instead of changing it as I go along. Again, finishing the product looks like it's on schedule right now with my timeline. I am finishing up the second lesson and going to start on the third one. Some of the concerns that I have, or that I had, was completing the course in such a little amount of time seemed very difficult, but I think that that's one of the things that has kind of kept me on track is the schedule. So it's less time, but I'm able to schedule certain things on certain days a little bit more than if it was really stretched out. So I think that's kind of helped me a little bit. But one of the things that I did notice, and I try to keep in mind from other classes that I've taken, is that receiving feedback from certain challenges that they face throughout the course is very important, instead of waiting until the very end, because it's much more difficult to change things or to have a major change after you finish the product. The instructional solution is taking shape. Again, I expect to have it completed by the submission date, and I really hope that this instructional solution helps teachers with creating their Google Classroom. Some more lessons that I continue to learn is that I have to continue to make improvements throughout the course. I have to keep going back and reviewing what I have, make any little changes that I need, and just to keep going, because sometimes it does feel a little overwhelming, the things that are on the timeline, but I know that if I keep with the timeline, that it's gonna really help me out in the long run. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.